Hello and welcome to WRC Sideways. It's a crazy show. That is what you can expect. Let me sit down and get this show on the road, though. My first guest over there is two-time ladies BRC champion, Nabila Tejpar's here, everyone. Come on, come on. So you were on the last show with us. What have you been doing in between then and now? So
since I put my car in a ditch, I have done another rally, and we did that in Portugal, and it was really great for rally, which we're doing WRC Portugal in a few months, so great practice for that. And then we're back out next week for the next BRC round. Busy, busy, busy. Right, my second guest sat right next to you is a YouTube car fanatic with over 170,000 subscribers. Make some noise for Seb Delanney, guys. Come on. So, Seb, how did you get into this crazy world of cars?
I just started filming the cars on a little iPod Touch that I saw around where I lived, and I put it up online, and then now we're sat here today. Yeah, now he's got 170,000 subscribers. It's just that easy. Right, you're not the only guests here, though, because just behind me over here, he's in the rig. He's driving as we speak. eWRC champion, Jon Armstrong. Come on, Jon. Come on. Oh, what are you doing there, Jon?
I'm just having a little blast around the Super Special stage in Mexico.
OK, going well?
Yeah, not too bad. I haven't crashed yet.
OK, good. Well, I'm going to leave you to it, because that's exactly where we're going next, the Super Special stage in Mexico. It's really, really cool. There's a carnival atmosphere, if you've ever seen it. It's incredible. There's only one place that we can start, and it's Lappy's Crazy Jump. Have a look at this. Wow. That was absolutely incredible. I mean, how does something like that even happen, Nabila?
I mean, I'm pretty sure that wasn't a very well-made jump. Normally, they try to make them so you got a little bit of, like, ledge sort of thing on the end, so it lands flatter. But no, that just took him straight and tipped him down.
Looked like he was about to go over, didn't it?
Somersault.
Yeah, somersault. Front flip and land, no problem. Yeah.
Ever done anything like that, Seb?
No, we were maybe on speed bumps, but that's about as close as I've gotten.
Well, this conversation leads us nicely into the fact that absolutely anything can happen in Mexico. Now, we've known this for a while. We can see Ott Tänak here, 2015. Wait for it. Into the lake. Nabila, we were talking a few moments ago, and you said something like that would be your worst nightmare.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to end up in the water, because it'd be like, obviously they make it look so easy to get out, but like, I can't imagine that.
They were so quick, because you have to undo your harness, you need to get out the car. They were rapid.
Yeah, but it's not, this sounds like a ridiculous question, but it's not easy to get out of a rally car either, because the bucket seats are quite deep, and you know, it's hard, isn't it, Nabila?
Yeah, like, it also depends on the way you land. Like, it looks like they were trying to take their belts off looking at the in-car, whilst the car had just like, sort of gone into the water, so by the time it flipped the right way, they were out.
I love the nickname as well, Tänak. You get it?
Okay, smart.
You get it. Right, that's not the only thing that can happen in Mexico, because Sébastian Ogier has been in on the action as well. Have a look at this. You've got to be able to think fast to avoid that.
I think I've seen that one. That one I've seen before, but that's nuts. I mean, the reaction time was nothing.
Especially because of how fast you're driving as well, you know, and it's unexpected. But, you know, speaking of unexpected, have a look at this next one. We can have a look at Chris Meek in the car park in the last stage of the rally. He just missed that car, first and foremost. I think it was a Bentley as well, you know. Yeah. He's in the car park here. Look at this. Nearly hit those motorbikes.
But where's he going?
Trying to find a way back onto the stage.
Yeah, he's just going for a little look around.
And back on the track. Look at just, wow. Just imagine how furious you'd be if you had a really expensive car in the car park.
That was the most, like, heart-in-your-mouth moment, because he was actually leading that rally, and he still managed to win after that. But can you imagine being him and going into the car park, and I'm pretty sure he actually hit the car on the way in. I think it was a VW. And then trying to get around, so now they make jokes saying when he goes back to Mexico that they need to write pace notes for the car park.
And we seem to be absolutely nailing it. Right, we need to turn our attention to this year's rally, of course. Seeing those clips is amazing, but, you know, bizarre moments still happened this year. Have a look at this. That is Tänak's co-driver, Martin Yarioba. He had to run to the finish line because there was an electrical fault. So even Ott Tänak saw the funny side of it, because he posted this on social media, "Run, Forrest, run," obviously from Forrest Gump. But talk about taking the mick. You know, your co-drivers had to leg it down the road and you're poking fun at him. Bang out of order. So we here at WRC Sideways give you an alternative view on everything at World Rally. But if you want the full highlights from Rally Mexico and beyond, go to redbull.com/rally. There's loads of good stuff up there, so check it out whilst you're there. Now, Ott Tänak is leading the championship at the moment, which means he has to go out first and clear the road, clean the road for the other drivers. I feel like it's a little bit of a disadvantage. I think if you're leading, you should be able to go last whilst all the rocks have been moved by everybody else. Anyway, we've been trawling social media for your questions in Would You Rather. Now, this is Ott Tänak being asked Would You Rather by Red Bull TV's Mike Chen.
A dog, that's easy.
Dog.
Yeah, definitely a dog. That's a simple question.
I would drive on everywhere, and I know he can't drive anywhere.
Oh, tarmac. A tarmac. I'd go on tarmac. I've done gravel.
Can I have a question?
Yeah.
Have you ever crashed the cross kart in the first corner?
Move on, move on, move on. That's not for
What
the
was this
television.
tarmac or
That's
graveler?
not-
What was
Rui,
this?
Where is Suarez? Get him in here. No. Moving on, quickly. I would fly, purely on the basis that I had a nightmare getting here this weekend.
Invisible.
Why would you want to be invisible?
I would disappear now.
Really? I'd fly off. I'd fly off. It'd be sod's law. You'd be invisible and I'd fly straight into you. Whatever.
Unbeatable on gravel, and I will win the championship.
It's a good point. If you were unbeatable on gravel, you'd probably win the championship.
10 events, so it will be okay.
Yeah, decent. I'll go with that. Good
You
thinking,
go
man.
with that.
Yeah, I'll take his answer. That's a
Hey,
good answer. Well
come
done.
on.
What?
Yeah. Crashing a go-kart in the first corner.
That didn't happen. He's making this up. Well, that's one for you.
Which co-driver?
Which co-driver? Yeah, that's a good
My
question.
co-driver.
Yeah. Would you rather swap for your co-driver, one of the mechanics?
Let's say these days the rally cars are quite safe, so okay, I would be okay with the
Yeah,
co-driver.
but what are you actually like on the spanners? Are you any good? Are you any good at, being a mechanic? Yeah.
Much better than you, yes.
Oh, fighting talk. I tell you what, that's a feature for Red Bull TV.
It's not
right
fighting
there.
talk.
Like, who can change a shock? Who
it's
can change a
the
corner quickest?
reality.
Oh, brutal. Listen, you go that way, I'm going this way.
Oh.
This is over. This interview's give me that. We're done. We're done.
I absolutely love the fact how he was just all over poor old Mike Chen. Everything was like taking a dig at Mike. But the last question there, would you rather swap with a mechanic or a co-driver? Nabila, would you rather swap with your co-driver or a mechanic?
I'd rather be a mechanic.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think I can be a co-driver. I don't think I could do it.
Do you know, one of the things I noticed just through watching WRC is I didn't realise, but the co-drivers very rarely look up. It's really unnatural, Seb. Like, could you imagine being in a car and the whole time you're just like that?
You're looking down, yeah. I actually did a rally where I was a co-driver, and that was the hardest thing at first, is getting over the car sickness, because you're reading your notes the whole time. It's really hard.
Yeah, yeah. Right, well, we want you to get involved with this show as always. Remember, the hashtag you need is WRC Sideways, so make sure you start using that on social media and we'll be bigging you up throughout the series. Right, now, I don't know if you saw Sunonin's crash during Rally Mexico. We can see it now. Have a look. Lovely view of the suspension. I love that shot.
Cool. Yeah, that's awesome.
Because you can see how hard the suspension's working as well, because obviously Rally Mexico is notorious for being...
Yeah, it's a risky place to have a camera.
Yeah.
But it's pretty cool that they've done it.
Here it comes. Oh, just like that.
Oh.
But that's the fine margins, because obviously, he's trying to get that racing line as close as possible to the side, but that's what can happen. Look at that.
Yeah, the tiny little difference in distance can make the biggest change, can't it?
Yeah, but one lucky fan was an opportunist, actually, and jumped on board and managed to get a picture. Look at this.
Oh,
there you go. It's Steffi's Chinkle got the unique photo opportunity there with the car in the background.
No
too.
way. That's not going to be replicated anytime soon.
I bet you Sunonin was fuming, though, as well.
That probably brought a smile to his face after it, though. Give him
You
a little
reckon?
giggle.
After you just had a crash?
Yeah,
I reckon.
no, maybe not quite, yeah.
I mean, it did make him retire from the rally.
Yeah.
So yeah, he didn't restart under Rally 2 at all.
Right, well, on the subject of the crash, actually, we saw this tweet from Rock Collector. It says, we all know he's got speed, but Sunonin will have to bring cars to the finish unscathed, hashtag WRC. So we want you guys to get involved with this, because how many chances should a driver get in a season? Because Sunonin has crashed in his last 2 rallies, so at what point Should a team start to think about finding a new driver? You know, will Timu be feeling the pressure? Leave a comment below and we'll read out the best answers after Corsica. So have a look there. Right, Rally Mexico, as I've already mentioned, is such a difficult, hard rally for the car, not just for the drivers, because a lot of punctures have happened this weekend. I mean, you see it all the time, don't you, Nabila? These punctures on the tyres in Mexico. Yeah,
I mean, here, like, any car before can pull out stones onto the racing line and they're not going to avoid the racing line. It's just the line you have to take. So, yeah, it results in a lot of punctures for many of the drivers. I think there was only 2 or 3 that didn't get any this weekend. Yeah, well, it all started with Thierry Neuville delaminating his tyre during stage 2 on Friday. I've only driven a car on the road, and when you get a puncture, it's...
You feel it starts pulling, yeah.
Look at that. I mean, we can see it there.
Wow. OK.
Because it's absolutely brutal on the tyre. You know, the rubber of the tyre. I was looking at the track, and it looked just so rough and unbelievable. I can't believe that tyres can cope with the pressure of racing on this.
It's relentless, isn't it? It's non-stop. They're just getting hit.
Well, sticking with punches, Sébastian Ogier here on stage 10. That was Lappy in the ditch backwards.
Hanging out, yeah.
Sébastian Ogier got a puncture there, and it handed Chris Meek the lead, actually. And we could see Chris Meek here, he decided to carry on after getting a puncture of his own, but then his suspension went. I mean, it is just a minefield, Nabila. And as a driver, I wanted to ask you, you know, how does a team or a driver and a co-driver, how do you decide whether to carry on, you know, if you've got a puncture, or to go, right, let's get this sorted and get it fixed?
I think it really depends. Like, a lot of the time we look at it, how far are you into the stage? How long is the stage? So if you have a 20-kilometre stage and you're like 6 kilometres to the end, I would always just carry on driving. But you can also, I've had an instance where I've had a puncture and there's only 6 kilometres to the end, and the logical thing is to drive on it. But the whole thing's torn apart and it's ripped off the entire side of the car. Now, if we didn't stop to change that, then we could start doing damage to the bodywork, more than just the bodywork. It would be brake lines and the front end, anything could really happen. So we ended up having to stop. So we ended up losing a lot more time by the fact that we drove on the puncture and then had to change it. So I think it's a really hard one to call.
If it was me, be someone who's just trying to blag it to the end. Yeah, right, anyway, we're sticking with tyres now because we have got a classic rally car in the car park here in the WRC Sideway studio, Ford Escort Mark II. And we needed a bit of a challenge, so let's find out what happened. Today we are looking at how easy or hard it is to change a tyre, because it sounds easy, and when you watch it on the TV, it looks really easy, but actually there's more to it than you think. We've got a couple of experts here, Gavin and Paul. They're going to do it, and we're going to have to try and keep up with their time. The challenge is going to start from the minute these are unhooked. There's a wheel in the boot. That is going to be stuck onto this side here, and then once the boot is closed and the hooks are put back on, the challenge is done. Right, 109 for the experts then, so something for us to aim for. We need to pick teams. Tails, you're with me, John. I'm looking forward to this. Let's do this, John. Need to get the jack thing underneath. Get the stand under. Okay. We're on. Come on. Clear? Right, so we've done our time. Absolutely smashed it, may I add, me and John. Seb and Nabila, you're up next. No pressure, guys, but... We've already won. Keep going. Do you need a hand? I'm ready to step in at any time. The challenge is over. I've got a feeling who might have won, but you never know in these things. We might have been penalised for something completely unjust. Let's go back to the studio and find out. Now, myself and John, I've been told, I think it's a bit of a stitch-up if you ask me, but I've been told that we have got a 30-second safety infringement penalty. Apparently, John, I don't know where this has come from. Apparently, it's, you're not allowed to use the jack before you've put the. You're not allowed to kind of undo the tyre before you've put the kind of safety things underneath.
Yeah.
So we're on 1:37. That's what we've got. I don't have your time written into my script because they're going to tell me in my ear to make it even more exciting. Right, I can tell you that you guys did it in 1:56. So that means me and Jon are the winners. Come on, Jon.
Even with the pound.
Come on. Even with the 30-second time penalty, we absolutely crushed it. And do you know what this means, actually? If you take away... No, wait. If you take away the 30-second time penalty, Jon, that gives me and you a time of 1:07, which means we beat the pros as well. Come on, we beat the pros.
Fair play.
We beat the pros, even though, you know, it was dangerous and, you know, someone could have lost, you know, some fingers or something.
That makes us the new pros now, doesn't it?
Listen, we won, that's all that matters.
You're probably the first people ever to get a time penalty and a tyre change, yeah.
No, anyway, enough about me and Jon. This show isn't about us, it's about WRC. And this year in Mexico, there's been so many problems with the cars, not just punctures like we touched on earlier, Nabila, but so many problems. Just tell us why the cars suffer so much in Mexico.
Well, it's very different conditions to what they're used to, like over here in Europe. First of all, you have the massive change in altitude, and so the cars already lack performance from the lack of oxygen. So the guys are working the cars so much harder than normal, constantly being full throttle all the time, and there's not enough air to cool the engines down either. So they're just constantly pressuring them. So there's a lot of alternator failures as well, and electrical problems because they just can't kind of cope with it.
Yeah, and Hyundai had a woeful first day, actually. You know, not just punctures. We had Mikkelsen retiring on day one. Not only a puncture, but broken suspension, which I'm guessing, you know, when you get that, bit difficult to fix.
Yeah, just a little bit. Like, all of the ones that they've hit, like, Ogier had the same issue, Mikkelsen, they've all hit rocks, but they're all on the racing line. They're completely unavoidable. And then also, unfortunately, Danny Sordo, who was... well, with the chance of the lead of the rally, as you can see here, he had to retire due to an alternator failure as well. So it's just, anything can happen. It's so unfortunate when it does as well, if it's something electrical, because there's nothing you can do about it.
It's just absolutely infuriating, isn't it?
It's so unpredictable, isn't it? You can be doing the perfect thing and still come last if you hit something. And it's not your fault if it's on the racing line, as you said. Nothing you can do. Well,
it wasn't just those two that we've mentioned. Latvala as well was also out. I mean...
Yeah, and his was on one of the super special stage on Friday, so he lost it like so close and ended up going down in positions because of it. It's a really frustrating thing, and you can see there's nothing quite like having a mechanical failure, like an electrical problem or something that you genuinely can't fix or it wasn't your fault. Like, obviously, even if it's on the racing line, if you hit a rock, you know you're going to get a puncture and you know it's going to be a problem. But just stopping before you start a stage, that's the worst feeling.
Yeah, and Yanni did actually mention it in the last show, that the altitude will cause problems, and it has rung to be very true.
Engine problems. Thin air, you definitely have engine problems. And also for the drivers as well. That thin air, they're not used to that as well, so could cause them issues.
What we're going to see now is WRC2 driver Alberto Heller with his boot open driving. Look at this. I'm sure this has happened to most people when they're driving down the road, but during a rally, I mean, this is the madness that happens only in Mexico.
Doesn't look very aerodynamic.
I don't think it just happens in Mexico. It's everywhere, but I can't imagine. I would not want to be in the car with all that dust coming in.
Yeah,
there's the dust coming in, There's
dust all over the place in Mexico as well. There's like dust plumes behind them when they're driving. But, you know, one of the other questions that a lot of people like asking or like finding out anyway when it comes to rally, Nabila, is just how close you can get. Well, we can see here, have a look at this. This is how close you can get to the action. Look at that.
Yeah, I don't think you can ever do that on an F1 track.
No, definitely not. And I mean, they're literally right in the action, aren't they? You can feel everything that's going on.
I mean,
that's fantastic.
I mean, for a you know, fan of cars and stuff, do you see that and think to yourself, I'd quite like to be that close?
Oh, I'd love to. I mean, cars are like this aspirational thing that we all sort of love, but often there's a massive distance between you, whether it's in motorsport or general nice cars. They're so far away, sort of unobtainable. But being able to have a form of motorsport where you can be that close up and see it sort of firsthand and almost feel like you're in the car and experience it. You can get the dust in your eyes. You can, you know, see the cars, hear the cars coming by.
I love it how you're like, you can get the dust in your eyes. It's great. Well, how would you fancy a bit of this? Have a look at this. I mean, would you fancy some of this, Seb? Jeez. Being close to that?
Being close to that, yeah. I'd love to be in the car for that. That looks fun.
Mikkelsen Gate is a big talking point of Rally Mexico, and if you're wondering exactly what we're talking about, have a look at this. There's a gate that you have to go through.
That's insane. I mean, you never see that in any other motorsport, do you? And it adds so much character to it.
But then look, he's gone too close to the gate.
You really shouldn't ever come across this.
No, yeah, I mean, it's cooler.
He went too close to the gate and then had to reverse. And these are precious seconds, you know what I mean? It's almost like a calamitous mistake.
I think all in their mind, they assume the gate's going to open the other way. I don't think they expected it to open back towards them.
Well, they actually compensated him for the gate anyway, so it's all fine, because that would be so annoying, isn't it? You're absolutely, like, pelting it down the road and all of a sudden there's a gate in your way.
To be fair, he's lucky he saw it and stopped in time and didn't just go straight through it.
Like an action movie. Sébastian Ogier won the power stage by 0.025 seconds and takes maximum points. It's so close, but he took maximum points for the whole rally as well, so a great weekend for Sébastian Ogier.
Definitely. I think after Sweden, he really had a points proof coming here, and he took advantage of being third on the road and kept the whole weekend, and then, just like Tänak did in Sweden, took all the points as well.
Yeah, and if you're wondering, Seb, this is the guy they all want to beat.
Well, he's called Sebastian, so I see why. You know.
Right, we can see the 2019 WRC stand-ins now. At the top, Tänak, 65 points. He's still up there, hanging on. Sébastian Ogier, though, has leapfrogged Thierry Neuville into second place with 61 points. Neuville down on 55. Chris Meek in fourth on 35. And then Evans on 28 make up the top 5. Next up on the WRC calendar, we're back on good old-fashioned tarmac and in France for the Tour de Corse. Now, I wanted to get one word from each of you in here which sums up Corsica. What would that word be? Nabila, I'm going to come to you first.
Smooth.
Smooth. Seb?
Mountainous, probably.
Twisty.
There you go. 3 good words from our guys in the studio. But we need to get some words from the drivers. Now, we could have been harsh and said only one word for them, but they are the guys that kind of drive the cars and make the sport. So we gave them more than one word.
Rally Corsica, it's tarmac, very high rhythm, corner into corner, and good for me. I love this event.
Corsica for me is the first proper tarmac rally. It's a very twisty event, and I have very good memories with already 2 victories.
Rally Corsica, it's just left, right, a few more corners, and of course rally with a big history.
Very demanding, can be very changeable on the weather front. So yeah, really looking forward to it.
Corner after corner after corner, that's it.
So there we go, that is the preview for Corsica in a few weeks' time. But now we need to get the virtual version. And we've got the best man for the job, eWRC champion Jon Armstrong is in the building, and he's going to take us through a stage of Corsica now. Right, here we go. So even then, how did you get such a good start?
So I actually start in second gear because you get a better start away, you get more traction. So basically just hold the handbrake, put it to full revs, and then once it goes to 0, just drop the handbrake and away you go. As you can see, Corsica is very technical, a lot of corners, and also quite bumpy, so you kind of want a good car setup to begin with, something that's quite stiff so you don't get too much body roll in all the corners.
You're making this look ridiculously easy. As somebody who's had a go at this, it is so hard to do. It's unbelievable watching this. I'm watching it thinking, oh, he's about to crash. He's about to crash. But you still managed to keep it going.
That's also the finish, stage in
Corsica.
Corsica.
There we go. Look at that. There we go. Wow. Racing against the clock as well.
Fastest time.
Yeah. Can I just say you absolutely smashed the computer by nearly a minute as well. So that
not
was
bad going.
Yeah,
I'm not sure what difficulty he's on, but yeah, I'll take that.
So that is all we've got time for right here on WRC Sideways. Can I get some noise for my guests, Nabila Tejpar, Seb Delanney and Jon Armstrong? Thank you very much, guys. Absolutely nailed it. Of course, we will be back after Corsica, which you can catch on Red Bull TV between the 28th and the 31st of March. But to whet your appetite for that rally, here's some more from last year's.